J.R.R. Tolkien created a vast and rich world in the pages of The Lords of the Rings, its influence lasting over 7 decades, leading to multiple film adaptations, spin-off films, and a web series. But it was not just the strong narrative and the compelling characters that made this book stand the test of time, but the vast world and the creatures with a long history going far beyond what had been written that made fans come back to this franchise again and again. Today, we explore one of these amazing creatures, the Blackwings, aka Nazgûl-birds, and find out more about their history, impact on the story, and their screen appearance. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The Nazgûl's flying steeds were exactly what these large bird-like creatures were called in the Lord of the Ring books, though other names were also used to describe these creatures, such as Blackwings in Book 4 of the Two Towers, Hellhawks, as well as Fell Beasts in Book 5 of The Return of the King, and Nazgûl-birds by the author himself in Letter 100 of the Letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. For convenience, I will be using the name Blackwings in this video to discuss these winged beasts. Tolkien described the Blackwings to be large, winged creatures that looked similar to a bird, but were much larger in size and more monstrous in appearance. Their hues were dark enough to make them appear shadow-like, even when there was no daylight, while their skin was pale and naked without any feathers or quills. They also had long necks, with their pinions hiding between their horn fingers, which formed into large webbed wings. Another distinctive sign of the Blackwings was the foul, decaying smell that came from them and the loud noises they made. Even with the mysterious origin, it has been speculated that the Blackwings were the survivors of an older world, with the rest of their kind having fallen during the Elder Days. Those who survived ended up going to hiding and bred within the grotesque eyrie of the Forgotten Mountains in the freezing nights underneath the moonlight. The creatures were then believed to have been found by the Dark Lord Sauron and were grown into their current form by feeding on corrupted meat that created an instinct for evil within them. The 9 Nazgûl initially persuaded Frodo during the events of the War of the Ring while riding on horses that were described to be as black as coal. These horses ended up being consumed by the flood that broke out at the Ford of Bruinen, thanks to Elrond's intervention. The 9 Nazgûl also seemingly vanished in this flood, only to return to Mordor after a few months to find the One Ring. Later, when the Fellowship of the Ring set camp on the western shore of the Anduin, they noticed one of the 9 Blackwings, describing the creature to be even darker than the darkest pits in the night. Legolas shot an arrow at the Blackwing with a great bow of Lorien when the creature seemed to notice them. The Blackwing then disappeared into the shadows of the eastern shore, screaming. Frodo, Sam, and Gollum later encountered another Blackwing as the trio were crossing the Dead Marshes. Following this, the chieftain of Harrowdale informed Gandalf that a Blackwing was flying over Edoras, describing the creature to be darkness taking the form of a bird. This led to Gandalf telling the Rohirrim to assemble at Dunharrow instead of the initially planned Edoras to avoid any sort of attack. The Witch King of Angmar, aka the Lord of Nazgûl, later arrived at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields on a Blackwing. On the battlefield, the Witch King brutally wounded King Theoden of Rohan, leading to Éowyn removing her disguise as Durnhelm and assassinating the Blackwing. Later, the 8 remaining Blackwings joined the Battle of the Black Gate, where they were engaged by Gwaihir and his great eagles until they were called back by Sauron, as he sends Frodo inside Mount Doom wearing the One Ring. Those 8 remaining Blackwings were destroyed in the volcanic eruption. A little bit of a messy adaptation on screen. In the film trilogy by Peter Jackson and Weta Workshop, the Blackwings are depicted to be more similar to dragons, with their heads appearing to be like that of a snake, lacking a beak. This caused a common misconception among the fans that the Blackwings were dragons in the book, even though Tolkien meant for them to be more similar to a pterosaur. In the commentary tracks, the actors also made the mistake of calling Blackwings as Nazgûl, although this was thankfully not repeated in the actual film by the characters, most probably because of following the books thoroughly while writing the script. The Black Wings first appeared in the second film. The two towers as a ring wraith rode a black wing above the dead marshes. The third film, The Return of the King, introduced a few new scenes of the Black Wings. The winged creatures were shown grabbing several Gondorian soldiers with their talons during the siege of Osgiliath, and dropping them to meet their miserable demise. The Black Wings also caused the death of the fleeing soldiers until they were driven away by Gandalf, creating a blinding flash of light. The Black Wings were later taken by the Nazgûl to attack Minas Tirith. They were used to destroy the trebuchets and also to stop the Gondorians from providing any sort of protection. Following the attack on King Theoden during the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, the Black Wing of the Witch King of Angmar was beheaded by Éowyn. The remaining Black Wings later faced their demise in the same manner as the books. The might of the Black Wings. The large and intimidating size of the Black Wings made them quite dangerous on the battlefield, as they could grab onto their prey, dropping them off from the sky hundreds of feet above the ground, leading to instant death. The Black Wings also used their wide wingspan to create strong gusts of wind to prevent their enemies from coming near them, and even use their own heavyweight to crush their enemies like ants. Their wings make them strong assets for Sauron and the Nazgûl, as the option of accessing a larger ground from the sky made tracking the location of enemies quite easy, while their pitch-dark appearance meant that they were not as easily seen by the enemies down below. Marvelous verdict. The Black Wings are one of the most powerful creatures created for the world of Middle-earth. With their intimidating appearance and an instinct for evil, their fate was sealed from the moment of their first appearance. The end of the 9 remaining Black Wings stood for the end of a far-gone era that had taken an ugly turn once it overstayed its welcome. The Black Wings' end, coinciding with the destruction of the One Ring, ended on quite a poetic note. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!